Hi, I'm Dr. Broussard with the Waggin Trained Veterinary Clinic, and in today's segment we're going to talk about what's normal and what's not so normal when it comes to puppy behavior. We put together a list of just a few questions that we commonly face, and my assistant Cole is going to help me run through those to hopefully give you a better understanding. Cole?
Dr. Broussard, how much biting and chewing is normal puppy behavior?
A lot. Let's face it, they are going to bite and chew a lot. Some breeds, some dogs do it more than others, and that's fine. But you got to think about part of it is their teething. We all know the babies teeth and chew a lot and drool and their gums hurt and that kind of thing. Puppies do the same thing. They do it a lot more rapidly. The average dog will start to lose and therefore start to grow their new permanent teeth as early as about 4 months. And usually by about 6 to maybe 7 at the latest, all their permanent teeth are in. So you got to think about that. They're not doing it just to be destructive. They might do it because they're bored, but they're probably doing it because their teeth hurt and it feels good to chew on those things. So they're all going to do it to some degree. You just have to prepare accordingly for it, giving them right chew toys and things like that, which we'll cover in a second.
My puppy cries at night. What should I do?
Earplugs? No, I'm kidding. Not earplugs. Well, you can. I've done that before too. The first few nights of a new puppy coming home are going to be the hardest. I'll tell you that right now. Unless you have an exceptional dog, it's usually the first 4 nights are a living hell. Let's just be honest. I am a big fan of kennel or crate training. And for me, what that looks like is when I go to bed, I'm the last one to go to bed at my house, so I stay with the dog, I take them outside, and the last thing before it's lights out is I put them in the kennel. I personally do not put food and water overnight. I'm not eating at night when I'm sleeping, nor do they need to eat at night when they're sleeping. It just makes a mess. So I put them in there with no food or water. I'll put a nice bed in there for them, and if I really am kind of worried about how they're going to behave, I might even cover it with a blanket so it stays nice and dark and cozy in there for them. It's kind of like raising a child. There are people that will wake up every time the child goes and runs to them and picks them up and takes them in their bed. You can do that with a dog too, but you're going to be creating a monster. So I normally will kind of let them cry it out within reason, guys, but I will let them do that the first couple of nights. If you stick to your guns, trust me, they will figure it out. The kennel becomes a comfort zone for them. It's just those first few nights, they're away from home, they're away from their mother, their siblings, they're not sure what's happening. I get it. But if you do give in and put them in bed with you, that's fine, but you better get ready to do that for the next 15 years or so. So that's my advice on that one.
Why is my puppy so aggressive?
Well, hopefully it's not true aggression that this question would be geared towards. I have seen puppies that are aggressive at a very early age, and that's a little bit disturbing. More times than not, it's just playing. They're trying to find themselves in the pack. They're trying to find out who's the alpha, who's the not, what can they get away with. They're learning how to interact with dogs. And if you've ever watched a pack of dogs, wolves, any canine species, that's how they are. That's what they do. So the playfulness / aggressive, it's okay for them to do those things in moderation as long as it's in play. If it becomes growling, snarling, pulling, and like where they have to have the last word, that's a problem, and that needs to be addressed straight away. I'm not a trainer, so I'm not going to stand here and try to give you this long, drawn-out process how to do it, but one thing you might want to do is consult with a trainer and see the right methodology on how to break that or steer that energy elsewhere to where it becomes productive and not leading down a not-so-good road.
How can I get my puppy to calm down?
The million-dollar question. Exercise is probably the best bet. All right, think about a puppy. They play hard for an hour or two, just like a child. Like you look at them and you think, oh my God, where does all this energy come from? But then right after that, it's lights out and they're going to be asleep for an hour or two. So with that being said, best bet on a puppy, play with them. Give them an outlet for that energy. Take them for long walks, play fetch if they're old enough to do that yet. Anything that's going to use energy, use their mind, that's what they're bred to do. You know, they're pack animals. Normally they're roaming around with other dogs all day long or sleeping. That's not going to change just because you got them and brought them into your home. So they still need those basic essentials. So let them be a dog. Let them explore. Take them for walks. Do those things to burn off some of that energy. And I'm going to tell you one other thing too, as far as training goes, that's the best time to train them is right after you've done that. So their energy level is not so high and they're just at a better mental state where they're more relaxed and much more amenable to learning new things.
Is it okay to punish my puppy?
I'm going to say yes, and I'm saying this while I tiptoe walking on eggshells kind of because I don't want to rub anybody the wrong way. Dogs need discipline. No different than a child needs discipline. So yes, If I stuck with a short answer, I would simply say yes, but I feel like I have to explain. If you catch them in the act of doing something undesirable, messing in your house, chewing on your favorite shoes, fighting with another animal or anything, trying to bite you too hard, anything like, absolutely it requires correction. In moderation. It doesn't mean you have to go smacking them around. A lot of times it's just a loud noise or anything. And most dogs, when they hear that, and they stop. That's correcting in itself for probably 80% of puppies. Have I at times tapped mine on the nose if they're really not getting the message, if they're not responding to an auditory stimulus or something like that? Yes, I have. Is it okay? I think it is, in moderation. Again, I am not advocating going around smacking your dog, but they do need correction, they need discipline, and they do better when they know what's expected of them, much exactly like a child would be, So yeah, I think if caught in the act, yes. If you were trying to correct them for something that happened maybe while you were at work and might have happened hours ago, nah, you're wasting your time. And I have learned the hard way, do not even bother, because they will have no idea what you're correcting them for, and then it just becomes a thing where, oh my goodness, now they're fearful of you, because you're just this big old guy that just comes in and starts spanking them for no known reason, So if you catch them in the act, yes, in moderation. Otherwise, let it go, deal with it the next time you see that behavior happen.
When should my puppies start obedience training, and can they go before getting all vaccinations?
Depends on what kind of obedience training you're talking about, first off. So I will tell you that obedience training that you're going to do at home as soon as possible. Again, in moderation. A 6-week-old puppy, don't put them through boot camp, let them be a puppy. But I think it's still fine when I say let them be a puppy. Okay, so if you're going to give them a treat, why not have them on a tabletop like this, hold the treat up high so they're looking at you, and then say sit, and then watch their rear end drop to the ground. If they're not, hold it up higher, go above their head, so they're going to follow that treat, and then they're going to sit. It's a natural response. So that kind of training, heck yeah, I do it from day one. Other small training, like every time I feed my dogs, I put the food down, I make them sit or at least stay, and I put the food down. I do not let them attack the food bowl. It's by design. I want them to know that you're going to do what I'm asking you to do. It doesn't hurt. I'm not being mean in any way, shape, or form. But they do kind of learn that they have to do things my way and not their way all the time. And you would be amazed at how many things that spills over to. I mean, keep in mind, I'm a veterinarian, so I see dogs walk into exam rooms all the time. A dog that is well disciplined, even if they don't know 50 tricks, that's fine. But even if they know discipline, they know to sit, they know to stay, they know to heel, those kind of things, that is such a big advantage for us and for the owners. It just makes for better dogs when they have discipline like that. So I implore you that even if it's small things, train what you can in moderation. Don't do it for 30 minutes a day. Do it for 3 or 4 minutes a day and stop. They're still puppies. Make it fun. When it's not fun and they're losing interest, stop. Do it again the next day, and you'd be much better off for it.
When is it safe to socialize my puppy?
I do it early. The only caveat I'll give you in that one is make sure if you're socializing, so that means we're going to be around other people and probably even other dogs. I strongly encourage that in the right setting. I don't like taking them to places where there's a lot of other dog traffic, especially dogs that you do not know. So your big chain pet stores that let you bring pets in there, not a big fan with puppies. Me personally, I'm not a fan of doing that with puppies. Dog parks, groomers, boarding facilities, I would try to find any other alternative as when they're puppies. Like when they're not fully vaccinated, I try to stay away from those kind of activities. For obvious reasons. You don't know what those dogs have or where they've been or what symptoms they may have. Now that being said, if you have friends or family members or perhaps even have other dogs yourself and they're healthy and you know that, knock it out, man. Let them socialize. Let them be a dog. I currently have a 4-month-old puppy right now, and I have a 1-year-old and a 7-year-old dog. They are best of buds. They do everything together, and that's fantastic. The little 4-month-old is learning so many things from other dogs. I'm not even having to show him anything. He just follows what the others does, and he's learning how to be a dog. That's okay. But of course, I know that those other 2 are perfectly healthy and vaccinated. That kind of situation, do it early and often. If not, hold back. And then before you start doing trainers and other things, I would wait till they're fully vaccinated, which in most dogs is closer to, say, 4 months.
How do I socialize my puppy and other pets and people?
Just exposure early and often is the best bet. I don't have a formula. Every dog is different, but it's just exposure. Start with a leash so you have them under control. You don't know how those other animals, we should know how people are going to react, but you don't know how all other animals are going to react. So do it in a controlled setting where they're both leashed. But start small. And if one or both of the dogs are either acting aggressive or perhaps the other way, very fearful, do do it very matter-of-factly. Just take them for a walk and let them get close to each other, but keep on walking. And then as they get comfortable and they realize it's no big deal, maybe then you make another pass and they get a little closer. Or maybe you stop and talk with the owner. Try to mimic a normal day-to-day situation that you might run into. So that's really it. It's started early, do it often. And I think any of those things that we're talking about, guys, if you can implement any of this, trust me, you will be happier for it, and you're going to have a much better, well-rounded dog when it comes right down to it. Okay? Well, that does it for today. It was a little long, sorry. But I thank you for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, reach out to us. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.